Thomas spent his buffers on the island of Soda. All the engines like to do their favorite jobs. Percy loves to pull the mail train. Gordon is a very good express. And Thomas likes to not do any of his jobs and pull random specials in the middle of nowhere. One day, Thomas arrived at Brendam Docks, where Percy and Salty were waiting. Sir Topham Hatt was expecting Thomas, even though he had not sent him to go there in the first place. He just kind of follows him around in his car.
Josh, I need you to pick up the ice cream steak surprise and take it to the transfer yards.
Sent Sir Topham Hatt.
Scallowy will take the train from there.
Yes, sir, Thomas beeped proudly. Salty shunted the ice cream steak surprise behind Thomas.
Here you go, Thomas.
Said Salty.
Now you must be very careful of the ice cream steak surprise. Just don't get distracted, or you might go the wrong way. The transfer yards is a very long way away from here. Make sure you're coming down the right track.
But Thomas wasn't listening to Salty. He was thinking about talking to his little train friends. Thomas started to puff away, thinking to himself, I'll take this train to the transfer yard so fast that the little engines won't realize they're being harassed. Percy saw the look on Thomas's face as he left. I know that face, he said. I hope Thomas doesn't touch the little trains. Thomas started steaming out onto the main line. He was more focused on talking to the little trains instead of pulling the ice cream steak surprise. Thomas thought to himself, I'll take this train to the transfer yard so fast that the little engines won't realize they're being harassed. But then there was trouble. Thomas was too focused on talking to the little engines that he went down the wrong track. Up ahead, Toby was helping Mavis pull a long line of stone trucks. Cinders and ashes! He cried. Thomas smashed right through the trucks. Stones flew everywhere. They landed all over Thomas and all over the train. Thomas felt very ashamed, but he had to keep going. When Thomas got back onto the main line, he reminded himself of his little saying, I'll get this train to the transfer yard so fast that the little engines won't realize they're being harassed. He puffed. But then there was trouble. Thomas was too focused on the little engines, and he went down the wrong track again. Edward was talking to Bertie about the special they both had. They were to take the children to the museum. Cinders and ashes! Cried Thomas. Thomas biffed right through Bertie. The children inside of him were squooshed and squashed. Some people weren't hurt, but Edward was disgusted by what Thomas did. Before he could say anything, Thomas backed up and went down the main line. Now Thomas would be late to deliver the ice cream steak surprise to the transfer yards. But Thomas still kept saying, I'll take this train to the transfer yard so fast, but the little engines won't realize they're being harassed. But then there was trouble. Thomas was so focused on seeing the little engines that he went down the wrong track again. This time he was headed for the smelter's yard. Harry and Bert were waiting outside the smelter's pit. Cinders and ashes! Thomas cried. He screeched on his brakes, but it was too late. With a biff and a bash and a terrible crash, Thomas went straight through the buffers and into the smelter's pit. Thomas was going to feel ashamed, but he was kind of, dead. Sir Topham had arrived to survey the damage.
Thomas, you have caused confusion and delay,
he said. There was no reply. The Fat Controller felt quite disturbed.
Thomas,
he asked again. There was nothing.
I think Thomas is dead, sir.
said Harry. Topham Hatt was cross. The script had 3 more pages, but the main character was dead. Then he got an idea. Now that Thomas was perfectly alive and well, he went to go fix his mistakes. He went back to Brendam Docks and collected a new load of the ice cream steak surprise. He went the right way at Wellsworth, Maron, and the smelter's yard. Soon Thomas arrived at the transfer yards where Scarlowy was waiting with Mr. Percival.
Thank you, Thomas. You are a really useful engine.
Said Mr. Percival, and Thomas said nothing because he was dead. The end.